Welcome to Jets Rewind. I'm Marty Schupak in New York. I'm joined by my two very close friends, Ralph Schrager up in Massachusetts and Ray Clifford out in Ohio. We're doing an earlier show this week. We have a very short week, and the Jets play, I guess, in, I don't know, 65 hours, whatever, against the Patriots. And Ralph is just thrilled because he's right in the middle of Patriot Company. So how you doing, Ralph?
I'm doing really well, and we need this win because it's hard to live up here when they don't beat the Patriots. They haven't won in 8 straight games with the Patriots at the Meadowlands, so I think they're due.
Right. And of course, we won the season finale last year.
Yeah,
In New
which
England,
cost us about 5 slots in the draft.
but
Yeah.
well worth it.
It
Right.
probably, yeah, I think I'd rather have Olu than one of the receivers. You know,
Yeah.
Roma Dunes is doing nothing, and his neighbor's doing much.
Well, that might be Caleb Williams that's doing
Yeah,
Right. Well, it turns out Neighbors had a wonderful game till the last quarter, and he dropped the ball right in his hands,
mm,
which was everyone's, kind of
which
blaming him for the
everyone
loss.
knows Marty will bring up every chance he gets
It's true. I,
in the
I
next
want
5 years.
I wanted Malik Neighbors. And Ray, how you doing out in Ohio?
Good, good.
45
Cat,
minutes from
that's a cat safe
Bridgeport.
zone here at the Clifford residence.
excellent.
We're
Everyone knows Ray has cats, and they're all safe and sound.
How many do you have, Ray?
well, no, I'm down to two. I had three. And one neighbor one shows up for a snack every every couple of
Well,
days,
as
but
long as your neighbor's
he
not
doesn't.
showing up for a cat snack,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's funny, Ray. Ralph could bear witness because when Marty was 8, 9 years old, I used to show up in neighbors' houses for a snack at 4 o'clock too. But anyway, Ralph has a classic trivia, and we're all very giddy about the win from the other night. So, Ralph, I'm sure this trivia might have something to do with the upcoming game against the Patriots.
not really.
Okay.
Nice
Sorry
try.
about that. I could flip it
That's
and make
crazy.
one. All right, let's do it. I'll flip it and do a Patriot one. Gerard Mayo, who was a very good football player for about 8 or 10 years with the Patriots, when he was drafted, the Jets had drafted someone about 4 spots before. Do you remember who that was?
This is a giveaway.
I
And
figured I.
the funny thing is, Ray, do you know this one?
Depends on the year. What year was it?
Was it an 8 or 6? I don't know, 6 or 8,
Think
something
so.
like that.
Okay,
I don't remember exactly.
if Ray knew it, we'd get right to the answer. But I'll give a
I'm
hint
pretty
to
sure, but
Ray.
it's just like I said, I might be off by a year or so. But
Uh,
the way Marty reacted, I'm pretty sure I knew.
yeah, the rumor was that Mike Tannenbaum kind of overreacted because I think the Patriots put out a very strong rumor that they were going to take this guy. And of course, that's the way you build a team, not on what you think on your board, but on what other teams think or what it's rumored. So, Ray, you know what it is? Who?
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead, Ray. Let's mention it.
one of the Buckeyes,
Yeah,
Vern.
bring up his name, you get $100.
Yeah, we'll leave that one.
I was looking at his stats the other day, and somehow they gave him like 20 tackles when he was a Jet. He never
Vernon
tackled
Gholston, by the
anyone.
way.
He
Yeah.
never tackled anyone.
Vern Golston, yeah. Vern, as Rex always called him.
Oh God.
Well,
He was like the guy in the movies more than he was like a football player.
Yeah.
Ralph, we should do some sort of like just like a five person list, not to go all the way back in history, but because we have a lot of contemporary fans, like the last 20 or 25 years, the biggest draft bust with the Jets. But
5. We need a lot more room than
I was gonna
5.
say, yeah, that'd be too short.
well, anyway, I sent you guys a injury report, and of course, I only had the Patriots, but the main reason being there aren't that many Jets on it. I know CJ Mosley is a maybe, but believe me, he's not going to play. I could just tell by the tone of Robert Sala's voice. Jermaine Johnson is out. And the one injury I'm concerned about is Michael Carter, the second, who has a bad ankle. And the way I read it is it was described that it's one of these things where he's going to be in and out of games, in and out of practices, and one of those injuries that it's going to linger for the full year. So I'm a little concerned there going into this game. But the reason also, the Patriots, they have a more extensive injury report. A lot of guys listed did not practice, 3 offensive linemen, but the big one is Jawan Bentley, the linebacker, who was out for the year, and apparently he's a really good player. So with that, I want Ralph to give kind of a little overview about what the Jets are going to be facing in 2 nights.
Well, you got Gerard Mayo. This is his third game. Gerard Mayo was a really good inside linebacker, kind of tackling machine, and he's got them playing ground and pound football now. I don't know if it's his philosophy or the fact that he's limited as far as his personnel goes. We're getting to see Jacoby Brissett again. It seems like we play this guy every year on a different team. You realize that?
Right.
Third straight year on a different team that we've played him. He did pretty well against us when he was in Washington last year. And of course, the classic game against Cleveland when our guy Ashton Davis picked him off to end the game. But they're pretty much a running team now, and there's a lot of complaining up here that they're boring. But I don't know that they have a whole lot of options.
Yeah.
They have the two-headed running attack like the Jets do now with Ramondre Stevenson, who the Jets have trouble with because he's a guy who gets a lot of yardage after contact, and the Jets like to give up a lot of yardage after contact. And Antonio Gibson, who was a teammate of Jacoby Brissett's in Washington last year. Now, they have a guy named Demario Douglas, who's kind of a slot guy. He's like a 5'8", 180. And he had a very good rookie year last year, and he hasn't seen the ball at all this year, and he's already getting pissed off about it. So when you talk about Michael Carter being injured, that could be a problem for the Jets because he'd probably be guarding Demario Douglas. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
I want to ask you about one other player. The other receiver is Kendrick Bourne, but another guy who backs up is one of the receivers from Washington that got a lot of pub before the draft.
Polk,
Jalen Polk.
yeah.
Has he done anything in 2 games?
He didn't do anything his first game, but this game he caught a touchdown pass, so everyone's very excited. Didn't do much else, but we'll have to keep an eye on him. The guy who actually had the big game was Hunter Henry last weekend. He had about 9 receptions, 10 yards of catch.
Is he a tight end or just a
Yeah, he's a tight
right.
end. Yeah.
Okay, I just
and the other thing I'll say is the offensive line. They're a running offensive line. Their weakness is pass blocking. So if the Jets can't get a few sacks this week, they're never going to get any.
Okay, Ray, any reaction to the offense? Does anyone on the Patriots offense scare you at all besides Stevenson, the running back?
Well, Brissett's always had pretty decent games against us. He's never looked terrible. If they can run, and that's what scares me is run. And Hunter Henry, we every week a tight end does something to maybe not kill us, but make decent plays against us. I think the run is going to decide everything. How I think for us how a lot of this game goes. If we can find a way to finally play some run defense, I think we'll be fine. But if Stevenson has a field day and the other guy, then they're going to pretty much be able to do like San Fran and at times what the Titans were, do what they want. So, but I like, I'm the offensive linemen that are showing as questionable or whatever, injured, banged up, that could help us a lot. Like Ralph said, if we can't get a sack this week, then there's a problem.
Ralph, their receivers don't really scare me. And by the way, I did a Jets 2-Minute Tuesday today. One of the things I mentioned, which I mentioned on our last show, our linebackers, and it's not a knock on C.J. Mosley, who had a very good game last week, but I feel with Surratt and Sherwood in there, and of course with Quincy in there, they're very quick. Can we blitz this team with one linebacker? Is it that a possibility?
Well, I mean, we'll have to see. I hope they don't have to because, like I said, the Patriots' pass blocking is really bad. And, this is one team they shouldn't need to. I thought you were going to say, Marty, our linebackers are actually doing some nice pass coverage. Quincy Williams did and Sherwood did. So this is unusual for the Jets. And it's kind of an exciting thing if it continues.
Right. Now, on the Patriots, on the defensive side of the ball, Christian Gonzalez, last year, he was heralded as a great pick, and he got injured early in the year. Is there anything that's holding him back, Ralph? Has he looked good in the first 2 games?
I think he has looked pretty good. The DJ Metcalf had a long touchdown pass, and the debate is who it was a miscommunication between Kyle Duggar and Christian Gonzalez, but he's actually played pretty well other than that. And I tell you something, he locked up Garrett Wilson like I haven't seen anyone else last year. I want to see how that works out this year because he was really impressive last year. So we'll see if Garrett has figured out some other strategies for getting off the line against him.
I don't remember the injury on Gonzalez. Was it
I think it was an upper body thing.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I know the other cornerback is Marcus Jones, who beat us on a punt return one year, right?
Yeah. Is he an outside corner or a slot? I'm not sure.
Well, Jonathan Jones is the other corner. I think
right. Yeah. So he's in the slot, probably Marcus Jones. He's a nice player. I like him too. The guy who's really blossomed is Dion White, who's a lineman or pass rusher. He was a second-round pick in 2023.
Dion White.
Yeah. Dion White. You're right. Yeah. Right. From Georgia Tech, and I think he's got 4 sacks already.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it is. So he was picked in the second round, and of course, Jet fans will start pointing out, "Gee, we picked Will McDonald in the first round." It's like,
right.
We'll get to Will McDonald in a little bit.
We'll get to the Jets, but after we're through with the scouting, Ray, their safeties are Jabril Peppers and Kyle Duggar. Ray, how long has Jabril Peppers been in this league?
Bounced around, yeah.
Forever. A long time. I think he was drafted in the mid, like around 15 or 14, wasn't he? I'm not sure when he started, but
actually, I just clicked it. He's only 28 from Michigan. So you probably remember him when he was at Michigan, right?
I remember him playing for Michigan. I just don't remember the years, but he's a good. But I don't think he's all world, but he's solid. He's not gonna get burned a lot, but and he can make some plays.
Okay. Go ahead, Ray.
I'm other than Gonzalez, I think we're okay against their DBs. I think our receivers can do something against them. Other than Gonzalez, I'm interested to see how he does against Wilson too. Other than that, I think we're they don't scare me on defense. The only thing that scares me about them is the running game.
Right. Okay. And I had texted you guys. I know we don't take PFF grades that serious sometimes, but I think it's still fun to look at. They're making an effort to become like baseball. That's everyone loves statistics, but I'll just go through it quickly. You could comment on defense. The 5 highest grades: Tony Adams 70.3. Brandon Echols, 73.3. Ralph, Ray has a picture of Brandon Echols on the ceiling of his bedroom.
I do.
Yeah.
That great play he made.
I have one on the floor of my bedroom.
CJ Mosley, 75.4. Michael Carter, 77.3. And everyone's favorite, the latest flavor of the month is Jamie Sherwood, 82.7. Any comments on those grades by any of you guys?
Well, I mean, I read there's other people that put out grades too, and they were totally different than those. So I don't know. Jamie Sherwood, yeah, he looked like he played well, and Adams looked like he played well. But those things are so subjective.
Yeah. Ray, any of those guys stuck out? I know you love that interception, and you commented on Tony Adams.
And I do, and I look at that picture every night. And I had to replace the Jerome Whitehead picture with Chuck Clark on the floor. So
It's a good one. I'd like to see Chuck Clark's grade for the game. Anyway,
Yeah, well, in the other list rating that I saw, his was bad.
Yeah.
okay. On offense, Brees Hall, 72, AVT, 72.5. That's encouraging. But I think Ralph made a comment that he thought on Brees's run, he threw a good block.
No, it was both of well, it could have been Brees's too, but both of Allen's
Oh, okay.
touchdowns. It was Connie Carver who pointed it out on a tweet, and then I went and looked at him in slow motion, and he did make two nice blocks. And the first one for the pass, it was he and Tippmann who nailed some guy that got him loose, and then the other one, it was he and Morgan Moses on the right side that made a nice block, and Rucker also. Poor Jeremy Rucker. He really had a nice block in the on the run for the touchdown.
Rucker, apparently, he did a good job blocking. I didn't get the snap counts yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen those yet.
But as Ray said, Ray, he's been a tough luck guy as a receiver.
Yeah.
I'd like to see. Go ahead,
of all people, Rogers threw him two Zach Wilsons, and then sorry, first one to mention him, but yeah,
$50.
He could have, and both of them, he would have been catching it on the run if he'd have just hit him in the, around the numbers. He could have had two good plays.
But did you agree with the announcer? I've heard other people agree that on that long pass, he quit running on his pattern, Ray. Did you think he did?
On the long one, I thought he might have slowed up a little, but I don't think he slowed up thinking it wasn't going to get there. I think it just was when he turned, and looked. I just, I don't think it would have at the point he slowed up. I don't think it would have changed how tough a catch it would have been.
Right.
I don't think he slowed up like way early. I think he slowed up not long before it got there, and he would have got his hand on it, but I don't know if he would have hauled it in.
So, in other words, the one that Ridley didn't catch, it was like borderline, like he should have. You don't think it would have been close to that, where it went through his hands?
Ridley's definitely, I thought, went through his hands. I thought he should have caught that one.
Okay. I said AVT 72.5. These are PFF grades. Garrett Wilson 74.4. And Ralph's favorite, Tyrone Smith 80.8. Ralph.
He was better this week. He was, yeah.
Okay.
So that's good. So, I feel like the offensive line should get better with each week, which is good news. And I think Rodgers too will. So I expect a little more from the offense each week.
Right.
It's really kind of exciting, even though Rodgers hasn't looked great. When they get the ball, for the first time in I don't know how many years, you feel like we're gonna move the ball. We're gonna make some nice passes. It's like it's a lot more fun.
I threw out the analogy a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you guys remember. I said when Zach Wilson was quarterback, if we happen to get a holding on a first down and it was 1st and 20, I just said it's impossible. We could never.
Yeah, I want punt. Just punt at that point because it's just going to get worse.
I mean, there's so many quarterbacks in the league, like Derek Carr, you have a chance. Even Jacoby Brissett, you have a chance, but with Zach Wilson, you had no chance. By the way, talking about Derek Carr, Ralph Ray, you'd love this. He's been lights out, and it came out that he actually took snaps in a couple of the preseason games, one of which he actually had 10 pass attempts. So this kind of validates Ray's theory that we should have the starters playing more in preseason. I think Ralph might not agree, but I'm sort of on Ray's side.
Well, the preseason's so short that I want them to get some work together. I mean, that San Fran game was the first time in a game that our offensive line played together, and it looked like it. The second week was better. It wasn't great, but it was better. But it's more than that comment was more about the line than it was about Carr, and I mean, it would have been okay if Rodgers got in there for a few snaps, but I would more wanted the line to get some time together in real games. And those are the guys that I think really need work in the preseason in game action. Right.
And Joe Tippmann, he had the highest grade on the team from PFF, 83.6. He only made one or two mistakes.
Did that not count against him?
I don't know. That's why Ralph says there are different ways of
Yeah.
grading, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't know. So which was that was very interesting.
That stunt that he missed the block and ended up in a sack was the play that I wondered if that
Right.
would did they take that into account?
I don't know. I just want to mention too, I didn't send it to you, but I went to Sport Track and I was just looking at the free agents edge players that are available because this thing with Hassan Reddick, two things are driving me nuts. This Hassan Reddick thing, the way it was handled, and this Michael Clemens. And Michael Clemens, I can't stand the guy. And I one of the names on this list, and you'll agree or disagree, and I'll read a couple of others. I said, look, this guy is on the Dallas practice squad now. Carl Lawson, he had 7 sacks 2 years ago. I said,
Did he?
yeah, 2 years ago. I said, Michael Clemens could play for 50 years in the NFL. He'll never have 7 sacks. And he knows the system. I don't know if they would grab him, but I'd consider him. And another name that I don't want to say stood out, but it was familiar. Remember Shaq Lawson?
Oh, he was on the Jets for a cup of coffee. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that
what I
didn't end
said.
well at all.
He didn't do that great, but these guys got to be better. Also, you have on
Yeah, I agree.
Randy Gregory. He'll never see the field again.
And
Yannick Nakobe. What? How do you pronounce
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah, and I don't. But yeah, you know what? And these guys are all free agents, or are
Free
they on
agent, but
practice squad
they're
now?
not going to be cheap. Tyus Bowser, David Mayo. Here's one for you, Ray. Henry Anderson. He's 33.
Oh wow, but he's an interior guy, isn't he? Or he?
Well, they have him down as edge. I think he
Hmm.
played edge. And here's another one for in Ray Clifford's Hall of Fame. He's 32 and a half years old. Anthony Barr.
Oh my
oh yeah,
God,
Yeah,
how
so
old is Henry Anderson?
didn't we have Anthony Barr for
a couple,
like
less
half
than
a
a cup of
second, less
coffee.
than a cup of coffee? Like they were still brewing it when he
The
left.
time we took to eat a Twix bar, we had him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Henry
Antoine Winfield us
yeah.
wielded
Right.
us. Winfield
Hen-
us.
Henry Anderson is 33 years old. Another name on the list, or two names for me. Remember Kyle Phillips? He was
Yep.
on the Jets a little
Yeah,
bit. He's
yeah.
27. Here's one for you, Ralph. Bradley, I forgot to
And
pronounce
I
his name. Ane,
and I
Oh,
A-N-E.
yeah, right.
He was on,
You
but
know, I'd give any of those guys a shot. And some of them wouldn't cost that much, but
right. Yeah. Now, in a little bit similar, and again, this is a Jets uh, podcast, but I want to mention, we'll get into it with both Ray and Ralph, and we're all on the Jets and Joe Douglas about this whole Hassan Reddick. We actually could only speculate about what really happened. I don't know if we're ever going to find out the truth. But I just got to say, and I want to give him credit and get your reaction. I mean, in 2 games, and the Eagles lost last night, thanks to a Saquon Barkley drop. But Bryce Huff in 2 games has done zero. He did not make the box score last night. In 2 games, he's only had one pressure. And he made a quote after the game, I got to get more involved in this scheme and get used to it. But he has done nothing. And we loved him. We've all loved him for a few years, but we got to give the Jets hierarchy a little bit of credit for not spending that money on him. So I want to get your reaction first, Ralph, and then Ray. Go ahead, Ralph.
well, you know, fans, yeah, like I was saying off the air before, the Philly fans, the tweets have been absolutely brutal. What's his number? I don't even know his number. Is he in the game? Does he play this year? You know, it's like his last name is perfect for him. But I think the sample size is a little small, but I do think that it might be that their defensive scheme is not conducive to his talents. And Salah's, he lets them pin their ears back and run, and that has its good points and its bad points. But yeah, that could be a mistake by them. I know Jet fans have been ripping Joe Douglas, the commenters I read for, not signing him and then picking up Reddick and not signing him, and it's been a nightmare. And now suddenly Will McDonald has 3 sacks, and they're all lovey-dovey for Will McDonald, and they don't even who's Bryce Huff now, even though McDonald's sacks kind of were a little deceptive. We'll go into them individually in a few minutes, but
Well, go to him now, Ralph, while we're talking about him, and then
Yeah,
I'll
so
Ray's reaction on Bryce
at
Huff.
the end of the game, when it was Ian Eagle said, that'll be 3 sacks of him, and I'm like looking around, nobody's there. I'm going, 3 sacks? Am I watching the same game? And then I thought back. The first one was on the first set of downs, and I think he dropped back in coverage. What's his name? Will Levis broke out of the pocket. It was a 3rd down and 2, and suddenly, you know, McDonald is coming toward him, and it's basically a one-on-one in open space. And he tried to make a move around him, but McDonald grabbed him by the ankles and got him down. He didn't get the first down. They call that a sack. I don't know if it really is a sack, but it was a good play either way. The third one we all remember because that was the second to last play of the game, and that was a legit sack, a really nice play. And I'm hunting around for the other one, and I'm going online, and nobody knows where the other one is. And the simple reason is because it was that insane, crazy play that Will Levis lateraled in the fumble. What happened was McDonald's lined up on the right side going against the left tackle. He's trying to do an outside rush, and the running back, who was probably Pollard, chipped him and really nailed him and just knocked him to the ground. And he's on his hands and knees, and Will Levis just trips over him trying to run out of the pocket. It was like something on the Little Rascals or the Three Stooges. And as he's falling, he makes that retarded pass and whatever it was, lateral. And of course, we all forgot about how the whole thing started. and that was Will McDonald's 3rd sack. So that was not really a good sack.
And we don't really want to knock him any more than we have to. That last sack was definitely important. We love that. And we want him to do well. But I've said the same thing, right, Ralph, when I was looking at the stats, I was saying 3 sacks. I said, I don't know what team I was watching. But look, give it to him. Let him
he does
on.
Find a way. He's not. I don't think he's a 3-down player yet, but I think he's improving, and I could see by the end of the year him getting 8 or 10 sacks easily.
Right. Absolutely. Ray, your reaction? We could just start on the Bryce Huff not signing him and how in 2 games, again, a small sample size. Go ahead, Ray.
Well, I kind of agree with him. I mean, they're not realizing that he fit our system. I'm not sure how Phillies works. I don't follow their defense a lot. I know Reddick got sacks, so they expected him to just step in and do the same thing. But if you're not used to the system, it might take him a bit to get going. And I think Jet fans were mad that we didn't sign him, but I think Jet fans are mad we didn't sign him, way earlier when we would have got him for, like pocket change compared to what he signed with Philly for. I didn't want him at that point. I knew that was beyond, he to us, he wasn't an every down player anyway. And I don't know if he'll ever will be. We haven't seen yet that he is. So, I mean, Philly fans are a lot like Jet fans. You get about 5 minutes to start performing or
really
about you. So that's not unusual. The team that threw snowballs at Santa's obviously not going to give this guy a break. But I think he if depending on what their defensive coach is like, and I'm trying to think, is it the guy who used to coach Detroit? Is that their defensive coordinator?
Schwartz.
Yeah,
is it Jim Schwartz?
He's a pretty good coach, so I could see him, doing stuff to turn him around. Jim Schwartz.
He's a good coordinator.
But so far, I can't say it's worked out great for us either, since we don't have Reddick in place. So it's kind of like a wash. We don't have one guy, but we don't have the other. They don't.
And we lost Johnson, so it's really
that was the killer. That really was the killer. And real quick, Marty, when you had said the injuries for the ankle and the toe, those both sound like the ankle. Definitely, if you played basketball and ever turned your ankle, that you can tweak it again for weeks after. But the toe is the one that everybody thinks is no big deal, and it's probably the worst injury. It's like a high ankle sprain. It will probably bug him the rest of the year too. So,
I think that's what retired Bart Scott, if I remember right.
I think it was,
going back. I think it was a bad toe that didn't heal. I'm going to give some key points now to beating the Patriots. Ralph, a little music.
Dun, 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 dun.
Here we go. We're going into New England, and look,
We're not going into
No,
New
actually, we're
England.
coming here. It's our
Yeah,
home
yeah.
opener.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Are we the last team that hasn't played at home yet? I'm wondering.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I made some notes, and I'll tell you how I think we could beat this team. I want to force Brissett at quarterback, and with those receivers he has, I want to play up in the box, move close to the line of scrimmage. And with that said, in passing downs, and I've been saying this for a couple of weeks, I want to blitz a little more often. Don't send all the linebackers, just send one. As far as personnel, I want to see more Tyler Conklin, more Mike Williams, and I want to see more Braylon Edwards. I want to see Braylon Edwards.
Allen.
Sorry, Braylon Allen. Yeah.
Well, we can see the Braylon Edwards too.
Braylon Allen. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. I want to see them both in the backfield at the same time. And then, like I said, do what you did, move Brees Hall in motion again. Let them think. Let them try to double cover our receivers. Also, this is the most important. I should have put this first. I want this team to come out ready to play. I'm so tired of them coming out, no matter who the quarterback is, who the coach is, and they come out and they look like they're like playing in mud. They can't get going. I want them to come out. Let's try, and I mentioned this off the air. Could we try a hurry up offense for once? Could we try something different? And and besides that, the last thing is got to have better clock management with these damn timeouts and delayed games. You have to understand, Coach Sala, that if it's in the third quarter, the close game, the timeout is worth more than those 5 yards. This is like his fourth rookie season. So those are my key points. I want your reaction. You could add to it also, like you guys always do. So Ralph, you go first this week.
Well, you talk about forcing Brissett to pass and blitzing. Brissett's actually fairly mobile, so
He is.
For some reason, the Jets always seem to let quarterbacks rush for a lot of yards. There's a lot of pressure up here in New England for this team to open up a little bit. I don't know if Mayo is going to bow to the pressure or stick with his game plan, but I have a feeling they are going to try and pass a little more because they just didn't have enough offense to hold the lead on Sunday. I'd be, as far as the Jets go, the thing I'm going to add is please stop coming out with run, pass. You've got to stop that. I mean, this obsession with imposing your will, it just doesn't work. You can get back to that later in the game, loosen them up a little, and then start coming in. I love the idea of having Hall and Allen out there at the same time because you run one wide like Hall. He needs a lot of attention, and I think that's what was he on the field when Allen ran his touchdown the other way. I don't remember, but
I'm not sure.
I don't think they were ever at the same time, were they? I don't remember them ever both being
Not for
on.
the touch. I think they were.
Yeah.
Not sure how many. That'd be a good stat to know. But go ahead, Ralph. Anything else?
No, that's all I can think of at the moment.
All right, Ray. How about you?
I wouldn't be surprised if New England does try and throw a little more, throw us off, but I still think their passing game is going to be effective if we can't stop Stevenson. The other guy, who I can't even remember the other.
Antonio Gibson, yeah.
Yeah, Gibson as well. But I think that's what their offense revolves around. They haven't got the weapons to come out and chuck it all over the field, but if they can run the ball, they can be more effective. So I think if Saleh has fixed the defensive line like he was supposed to last week and got the run game under control, I'm like Ralph. I think your best take was the two guys in there at once, and then let Brees Hall, go out to the right or the left in like a passing mode and give the defense something to think about on the short yardage. I mean, on 3rd and 1, I don't think they'd fall for it too much. I think they're going to try and just stuff the middle. But any of the short yardage, like 3rd and 3 or something like that, I think that'd be a great idea. Just get the defense moving around. And other than that, I want to see more out of our offense.
Yeah, Ray. I wanted to just ask you. two things, and I want your reaction. Do you think we're going to see Mike Williams in for more plays, number one? And number two, it seems like in two games, the slot receiver has been completely left out of the offense. You think you could see that changing this week?
I would like to see him get something to Gibson in space. Definitely. I think Gibson is kind of like, uh, like Brees Hall, get him out in space. He can make things happen. But we haven't tried. I mean, they tried the one end around. That's fine. But I want to see him hit him on a short pass or something out that way, like that out in the open, or somebody in that range. Mike Williams, I'm not sure. I mean, I know that Rodgers tends to, once he decides he likes guys, you see him going to Lazard a lot. I'd like to see him start going to Williams that way, but I'm not sure if Williams is, fully up to his speed yet. So I'm wondering if he's still kind of working his way back physically a little bit to being on the field. But boy, that one catch was so huge. I'd love to see him become more a part of the offense. Somebody's got to do something that, it seems like there is no deep threat right now, and I don't understand why. So that's the other reason I'm wondering if Williams is up to full speed as far as physically, maybe not having, his full strength and everything yet to let him get behind the defense and stretch it out a little bit.
And Robert Salas said he's on a pitch count for the
Yeah.
first few games. I don't know if he gave an exact number, Ralph. I don't know if you heard.
No,
Yeah.
but I feel like, we haven't seen them using a lot of their potential weapons because, Hackett's game, his play calling, it doesn't give them a chance to open things up. And I think if he changes his play calling and his approach and just, mixes it up a lot more and stops running on first down and getting them, yeah, you'll start seeing Rodgers be able to use some of these assets more. I'd love to see Williams get more involved. I think he will. I think Williams will get more involved, and of course, our friend Corley. That I'm not so sure about. I'm wondering what the point is of that guy. I mean, they can't even get the ball to Gibson, who's our slot guy.
Right. We ran one reverse to Garrett Wilson, I think, in two games, but maybe you guys, if you remember, have we run a jet sweep? It seems every team we play, like 1 to 3 jet sweeps a game. Have we run one, guys?
Don't recall.
I don't remember at all. It was sweet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, it should be fun Thursday night.
What's the weather forecast down there, Marty?
The weather forecast, that's a very good question. But today is a very nice day, by the way.
Well, we've been had rain up here in a month, literally.
You need some bad too.
Yeah, Thursday,
not on Thursday.
62 to 76. So I'm guessing at game time, 8.
No rain.
8:20, no rain.
Okay.
Wow, that's perfect.
Be between 65 and 70.
No excuses. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to add to before we close out this session? And we're going to try to be on the air Friday, if not Friday.
Well, we can give our predictions.
Oh yeah, let's give our predictions. We're gonna. I want to start with Ray this time, because Ray actually the first week he predicted a loss. He was right. So let's see what he.
Yeah, but I didn't predict that bad of a game. It was like I thought it'd be a shootout. But I'm gonna say we're gonna win. But I'm not any more confident than I was the first week. Why the way we're playing the run defense makes me nervous. But I think we can, if we open it up a little bit, I think we can score some points. And because I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, I think it might be like 24-17 Jets.
Okay, Ralph.
Well, I mean, if they can't come out with energy first game at home on a night game, they never will. I think they're going to really come out with a lot of energy, and I think they're going to have a good performance. I'm going to say 31-17.
Every week,
Every week. I'm going to hit it one week.
I'm going to take the Jets, but I'm going to say 34-14. I think they're going to blow them out.
Okay.
And my feeling is, I like to, Ralph, you know what? I've become a fan of Ray Clifford all these years. His big thing is having the offensive line play together and chemistry and all this and you know, preseason. And in the matter of 2 games, we saw a huge improvement. And I think we're going to continue to see that improvement. And they're going to be opening up holes. And the Patriots see the Jets have more weapons. So I'm going to say 34-14, as long as we don't, you know, do these stupid penalties and dumb turnovers. So
one more thing I want to bring up. What do you
sure.
think they're going to do personnel-wise about replacing Johnson this week? How's that going to work?
I don't know.
You
I
think
mean,
they're going to bring Eric Watts onto the school?
is he an end or
He is an end. I'm not a big fan, but
I don't know what and McGregor's an end too, an edge.
McGregor's an end. He'll obviously stay because he's been dressed both weeks. Jalen Holmes, can he play some end?
I don't know.
He could, but I haven't seen a lot of him out there. I don't know that he'd be ready for that if, you know, but
yeah. Well,
I wouldn't mind trying him though if he can slow down the run, put him there. I'm more worried about the run than anything, you know, with your offense.
The crazy alignments they're putting the defensive line in. I wish they'd stop that. It's really makes me uncomfortable when I see them line up like that.
Right, and we spoke about that. You know, Queen Williams, his best spot is the inside where they double team him. And guys, that's why I'm saying, you know, throw a linebacker in there once in a while too. To blitz him. You just got, as Ralph says, you got to contain this guy. We seem to always like to, it's like the coaches bet on the over on the rushing yards for quarterbacks with whoever the Jets play. It's just unbelievable. Just a quick note, it was announced this morning, no Jet news, but Carolina has benched Bryce Young. And they're going to put in what's his name? The Red Rifle. Ray knows him from Cincinnati. And
Andy Dalton,
Andy Dalton's going to be starting there, and you know, we wish him luck.
What a disaster! What a disaster!
This thing is just that.
You know, these quarterbacks that they throw in. You know, I'd say 9 out of 10 times when they rush a first-round quarterback, it doesn't work. CJ Stroud looks good, but you know, I can name.
Yeah, he's the exception.
Yeah. It's like,
don't do it. Even I said Daniels, I thought looked pretty good, but I would.
No, I think the Patriots have to hold tight, even if their offense is really bogged down. They need to stick to the plan.
When I read that, Mayo came out in the summer and he said that Drake May is playing better than Brissett. He was hinting that he might start, and I said it's the biggest mistake he could ever make. And you know, I guess he's smartened up. I just want to mention to you guys an NFL game on the schedule to look forward to. It's in England. It's the Giants against Carolina. So that's a must-watch TV, a DVR alert.
So if Carolina gets the #1 pick, you think they'll pick another quarterback already? That would be amazing.
Well, they could do it. Arizona did it. Right?
I know. Well, the Jets have come close to doing that too, but
yeah. All right. Anything else before we close out this Patriots preview show? With that, for Ray Clifford, Ralph Schrager. Ralph, were you going to say something? I saw that mouth open.
No, I'm going to hold back. Yeah.
Enjoy the game Thursday night, and for Marty Schupak, until next time.